Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club with 4 race starts. We're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3. And Category 4 in red. From the gun, it's gone bang!
I'm just taking a look at that and I'm seeing riders at 5.96 watts per kilo coming out the start pen, and take a look at the stretch on the pack. What is going on in Category 3 today? Did they not realise it's a pan flat 6 kilometres?
Tiffany Penner is kicking the living daylights out of the pedals at the moment because she is stamping away up here, 6-7 watts a kilo, chasing Brittany Litton. We saw the move made by Brittany Litton going through the sprint, attacking away and going clear. Now the chase is coming behind.
She's done it again. She's gone up over the top of the Valkenburg climb in first place in that group, and it's a big group of riders, 11 riders in Category 3 in the leading group. Damage is being done here. This is still early at the base of this climb, you know. They've still got some way to go, and Anna Svalstrom now starting to get distance. She's 6 seconds back from Vittori, a further 4 seconds back from Paulson. This group is going to be smaller at the top of the Eichenberg Hill.
If any of these riders fancy a long solo breakaway, now is the time to do it over the top. Break the other rider. If you're not going to break them, what's even better than pushing up far enough in front to make them chase hard, to make them work on their limit, because they think they can always get you back. Idzik! Is the prediction going to be right? Will it be Idzik? The response has come from Vic and Francis, but I think they've got no response that will halt the progress of Idzik. Natalia Idzik takes away the win in Category 4, the first rider across the line in qualifier race number 2 on the Sunday Race Club. So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club to qualifier race number 3 in September of 2024. Time flies when you're having fun, and we're having lots of great fun on the Sunday Race Club, and it's a pleasure to put words to the action. My name's Matt Payne. I'm joined in the studio
by Emma Martin.
I love surprising Emma, so I actually went in slightly early there without any cues. It's nice to see Emma bright and smiley here in the studio.
Well, I just can't believe it's the 3rd qualifier in September.
I know, it's quite amazing. And we're actually not alone in the studios, because I have brought my trail dog, Indy, the GSP, into the studio because we can't keep him amused. We don't yet have a MyWhoosh app for exercising dogs, but when it comes along, I'm sure he'll be one of the test dogs. Now, let's take a look at the route that he can't go on, but you're going to be heading on.
Well, the women are heading to California today. Only the second time the Sunday Race Club women's race has hit California. 35 kilometres of racing, 500 metres of climbing. They hit downtown LA, the amusement park, Area 52 and the Golden Gate Sprint before they hit the first real climb. That's Hawk Hills, 1.1 kilometres, you know, just shy of 5%. Then they go through the Western movie sets, because who doesn't like a bit of John Wayne? And then into the Spring Road climb. 6.3 kilometres, 4.4% average gradient. And the win last here in Category 1, bang on the hour.
Well, it's certainly an iconic set. Let's see who will be walking like John Wayne afterwards. Who's going to be cool as Clint Eastwood? Who will be the latest in our heroes at the top of the climb? Who's going to be the movie stars getting their Academy Awards? And who is going to be scrubbing the pavements rather than having a star on it? We will find out very shortly. We have 4 race categories, as always, on the Sunday Race Club. Category 1 in yellow, Category 2 in green, Category 3 in blue, and in red it is our Category 4 riders, who will be our first riders away. 5 minutes separating each of our groups, and that means that the riders will be trying to catch and pass each other to take away the first spot there, but prizes for each individual race category. As usual, as always, the Petite Four squad are here.
Yes!
Great to have them with us. Kristen Hamilton, we've got Nikki Lloyd, Simone Francis here as well for the team. Brilliant to see them here. We've also got a big pack of riders. We're going to go through some of the runners and riders, as the saying goes, in a short while. But it's time for us to head down to the start pens to get our riders up and away on the Sunday Race Club for qualifier number 3. Here we go. Time to go racing. It's time to head out on California's roads. Let's see who is going to be at the top of the hill first.
Well, 32 women on the start sheets in Category 4. Do you know, it's an absolutely packed race field today. 121 riders on the start sheets overall. And Category 4, well, it was Ella Vink who took the win last time when we were here in California, that very first win. She obviously set the PB on the course as well. And will that PB be smashed today? It was an hour and 12 minutes for our Category 4 riders. And we're in with Bridget Bremner right on the front, drilling it here. Ellen Bogren is there, Isabel Alzak. Solazano is here, so is Vink, Bago, Kirchner, Sarasuk. Do you know, there are some really strong women in this race today. And for Korn Sarasuk, we've not seen her recently come to the fore. She climbed really, really well in the GCC Championships earlier on this year. I predict that at some point she's going to make top 5. Could it be today?
Well, we'll see. The prediction from last week was Natalia Idzik, who's on our screens at the moment. And Natalia doing a storming job on the race route last time out, as you saw on that rewind. If you want to get the full action, don't forget you can watch it all back on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Don't forget, of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button. The more of you that subscribe, the better it is before everybody on the team, because we then can say, look, you're enjoying this. There's loads of people on here. It's exactly what we want. Don't forget, of course, make sure you follow at MyWhoosh on Instagram and Facebook. Follow Emma at biking_Emma and me at Matt Fixer Payne. It's really, really important to us if you can do that. That really does help us. So please do. But most importantly of all, download the app, jump on board, and get out and riding, because we want to see you not just on the Sunday Race Club, but out on the roads of MyWhoosh, out on those training sessions, over 700 training sessions, video on demand and live coaching as well. You get your own personalised mention from the coaches generally if you're on there. And as you've been doing some of those, and you've been out and covering those, and you've had riders. I guess you're hoping to see some of them joining people like Anna Valencia.
I've had some of the riders from the Sunday Race Club joining me. Valencia wasn't one of the riders who joined me, but
maybe this will be.
Chedzekowicz has joined,
yeah.
Hamilton has joined, Bago has joined, Nikki Lloyd has joined. So we're doing a women's only workout on a Thursday evening live on MyWhoosh. But it's Thursday evening in the UK and Europe, 6:30 p.m. BST.
Okay, so
women's only workout.
Women's only workout. The WOW hits the roads of MyWhoosh for the training session. Do jump on board with that with at biking_Emma. And don't forget, of course, you get there by going onto the MyWhoosh website, hitting the links on there.
Yeah, there are indeed. I am going to do other live sessions that are not women's only, but Thursday will always remain women's only.
There you go. And come and join them. We know that there are people in here that, in fact, I've seen Kirsten Hamilton already riding. We've got Annalyn Tejeros in here. You can come and join these riders, and that's kind of the idea. We get regular messages saying, oh, my goodness, I am so much faster now. And words to that effect, some of them from Yorkshire, which are definitely not repeatable. So our riders up and riding. Annalyn Tejeros, you can see on the big screen in front of her the roads going by as she comes in to take the left-hand turn here. Nicely tucked in the bunch, sitting in the draft, really critical at this stage. This run in, Emma, it's relatively flat. It's not perfectly flat, because when we've got a big hill at the end, or we've got a big climb in the course, it does flatten out the rest of the profile somewhat.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting course, this, because you're right, it's fairly flat for some way, for about the first 6-7 kilometres. 2 sprints along the way, downtown LA and the amusement park sprint, before we hit the first climb, before we get into Area 52. We've then got a 10.8 kilometre run to the Golden Gate sprint that is very, very slowly uphill.
Well, let's see who's going to be in through that first. Our Category 4 riders chased by our Category 3 riders in the blue, the Grind My Gear squad. A real who's who. Angel Ann Hadlock. We've got Novelyn Kekkonen, Stefani Piccolo, and Tanya Howeiler's on the squad. We're going to see if Team Golden Light and the La Rosa Blanca squad can get there with Rebecca Johnson. But the Grind My Gear squad, the team with 4 riders. and a real who's who of riders making their way off from the start line very shortly indeed.
Well, it was Rosa Herrero from Johnson and Bergin last time we were in California. Bergin now up to Category 2. Well, away go. Category 3, we're in with Rebecca Johnson. She rode really well here last time out. Can she go one better and beat Rosa Herrero? Be up there? Will it be one of our other riders? Because this is a massive race field. 36 riders on the start sheet. You can see the riders coming out of the start pen. Montoya is there. Stefani Piccolo is right up the front. Stefani Piccolo has been getting stronger and stronger. She really could be there or thereabouts. Gina Van Rossum, Gina De Grazia in here. Georgina Jones. Geneva Ellos. Oh, I'm loving the fact that we've got 4 Gs.
4 Gs.
4 Gs. Geneva, Georgina, Gina, and Gina.
that sounds like the name of a Hollywood film.
Well,
it could be, couldn't it? The 4 Gs. Gina, Gina, Gina.
Well,
Gina.
we do have 4 Rs as well, because we have Rebecca, Rachel, Rosa, and Rosalina as well. So the 4 Gs and the 4 Rs all together out here in California.
I guess eventually we're going to get a duplication of names. Fortunately, all our riders individuals can see Stefani Piccolo, a rider who has really improved on the platform, a rider who's been getting stronger and stronger, as Emma said, and a rider who we're going to expect to see, I think, come to the fore on this course, because when the climbing gets tough, particularly at the end, if you've got a few climbs to break it up, then Piccolo tends to come to the fore. So we're going to see if that's going to be the case. But remember, of course, all of our riders with busy schedules, lots of our riders are there with a full-time job. They're going to be making sure that they keep all that covered off. They're also, of course, going to be trying to make sure they fit all their training in as well. And as well as getting all their training in, you got to then just try and enjoy yourself as well somewhere along the lines, and hopefully if you can combine the training and enjoying it, then it's a good thing.
Who doesn't enjoy themselves in Toon City? I love this bit of the world.
It's amazing, isn't it? And I'm also loving the rainbow jerseys there, the UCI striped jerseys.
I know, was that a cow in a rainbow jersey?
It was indeed a cow in a rainbow jersey. Now, in with Rosa Herrera, a rider who Emma has mentioned here, definitely one of our very strong riders, and a rider who I think, again, another rider who I expect to see. I mean, we could talk about pretty much, I guess, the entire race field. But there are some riders who, when it comes to big climbs, just seem to find another gear. And Rosa Herrera is one of them.
Well, Rosa Herrera for me is one of the stars of Category 3. She's a really, really strong rider. She took 3rd place last week. And let's just remember, we were in Belgium last week and there were 7 seconds separating the top 7 riders. So it was really fast and furious in Category 3. And she was right in the mix and right up there. She's regularly right in the mix and right up there. She's a rider who knows how to get in the right place towards the finish line.
Well, that's going to be key as our riders go in to the finish here in California. You can see Category 3 still making the way through Toon City, Category 4 already out the other side. Just heading through the side of the roller coasters here in the amusement park, and we are just at the moment in with Yamil Hernandez making the way in and through. New rider in the squad indeed. I'm going to be interested to see what Yamil does here today. Nicely tucked in the pack. You can see on the screen that getting that draft really key, and the draft shows up with the green watts at the top of the center of the screen rather than the watts being in white. So that little lightning bolt and the numbers followed by the W are the watts, and in green is good. So here we go. These riders just coming into the amusement park sprint as they come past the side of the roller coaster. This is the second of our sprint sections. It doesn't count in terms of prizes. It doesn't count to the overall result. It's not a points race, but it is bragging rights, and you can see at the moment Jesper Nicole illustrated with that green skin suit leading them through here, wanting to maximize her points here. Whether or not she gets that fastest time, we'll see, because it is the fastest time through the sprint, second fastest through there, and with enough points to hang on to the jersey. So our riders up and away in categories 3 and 4. Category 2 waiting to go on the start line. The category 2 riders all riding as individuals. No teams are on the list at the moment, but of course that will all change when we come into our finals, because remember, in finals week we have our team prizes as well as the individual prizes, and the Category 2 riders waiting, ready to go on the start line. Nice big field with some very fast riders who we know are going to be right up there battling it out. Always competitive. Time to see who is going to be the riders with the strength, with the power to make it to the top, and which riders will have to be saying, I'll be back for the next installment.
Oh my goodness. This is Hollywood Joke City.
Well, he has been governor of California.
He has actually. No, you are very
and
true.
He is in competition, a competition-winning bodybuilder as well.
He is indeed. And I did once see him on a chat show next to someone quoting Shakespeare, and he said, I once said a line of Shakespeare in one of his films.
There you go. Yeah, he's not a daft cookie.
And I think it was, she said,
Come on, here we go.
Oh, no, I can't believe I forgot what he said. Oh.
Not I'll be back then.
No, it wasn't I'll be back. I'll be back is not a line from Shakespeare.
It's an iconic line, though. It's gone into cultural history, and I think that's one of the things we see time and time again out on the course in California. We see riders riding past what are really cultural icons
I'll tell you
of
what
the 20th century.
It was to be or not to be. And then he seconded the line with not to be, and the explosion blew up.
Oh, okay, that's very cool. That's very cool. Well, let's see whose legs are going to explode on the climbs, who is going to be our winner when we get to the top. Anna Embring, one of our regular riders here, alongside Julia Montgomery. We've got Holly Bergen in the mix here, Jermaine Paredes, Serena Vittori. Now, Vittori, a rider who we know climbs well, and maybe a rider who I would have expected to be more to the fore last week, but it was not that kind of course. It was the Belgian course. It's short, it's punchy. It's not long climbs. It's harder to settle into a rhythm. And for me, Vittori rides really well when you can get in that rhythm. And the climb at the end of the race here today, the Spring Row climb, is a ride that has sections where you can really get in and up to pace. So the riders on the way in through, heading down through to City, looking very good at the moment, looking very smooth. The pack nicely all tucked together. Gianetta in here, Hill, Alta Marino in here, Miller in the mix, Brittany Litton in here. Litton, a very proud recipient of her new Saris Esports team kit. It's good to see those pictures up on social media. The riders out and racing, and lots of riders racing regularly, which is great to see because it's a great way to come on. But of course, you need to train as well. Race the strengths, train the weaknesses, and you'll get better and better. Or, as somebody told Holly Bergen this week, you don't get quicker by riding with people that are slower than you.
You don't. That is very true. But do you know there's also an adage?
An adage?
An adage to
that. A phrasal
that.
saying?
An adage to that.
Yes.
That you also have to train your strengths. Do you know, there was a big one when I used to dabble in a little bit of orienteering. You know, the old phrase, train your weaknesses, race your strengths. Well, you also need to train your strengths too so they get better.
You do. So what would Julia Montgomery's strengths be? Because
Julia Montgomery
I have
a lot of strengths.
I was going to say, which one do you pick?
I know. She has a lot of strengths. So I bet she trains everything.
I would say you have to hone it. Julia, of course, one of the strong Swedish squad of riders out on the esports, a regular rider. And I think, for me, what I like about Montgomery is her positioning.
Ooh.
Key positioning. It's easy to train things like your power, your explosive power, your sustained power, but that instinct to be in the right place.
She's very efficient.
Yeah, saving energy by being in the right place in the bunch. I think that's Julia Montgomery's strengths.
Well, there we go. Category 2, Julia Montgomery in the mix. Hannah Gianatti, one of the young riders right at the front of the pack. Yaramillo, Van Dijk in here, Bulwara, London. Now, this is interesting, actually. Marcel Smithers and Sarah Lundin are the only two riders in Category 2 who are on the start sheets today who took top 5 spots in California last time.
Well, that's going to be interesting to see because in Category 1, we've got a whole host of riders who are looking to repeat top 3 performances, top 5 performances. However, As Emma has said, we are in California, so let's see who can do this. Emma Belforth, representing the Ablock International, Iveta Skier, Joanna Kalman, Roberta Bassoni, Sophie Giovanni. Our peak performers, Kristen Kolczynski, Stephanie Sidlick. The Sweat Sensations, 4 riders from them, Amelia Velt, Catherine Fuhr, Merle Bruni, and Mina Koistonen. They are going to be seeing who's going to take away victory.
Well, away go Category 1. The last group of racers up and out on to California. California girls are all out on the course at the moment. There's no dreaming here. This is all about power and positioning, racing to the fore. 24 riders on the start sheets in Category 1. And the big story today is the number of riders coming up from Category 2 because of their really strong performances. So Kelsey Jade Van Shaw up, Lisa Hermansen up, Monica Rona up, and Tiffany Penner, the Canadian rider, up as well.
All 4 riders well deserving of moving into Category 1. And I would suggest maybe a little overdue for some of them, because the riders there have all got proven track records for me, but of course it's dependent on the power. It's dependent on that where that power is applied and how they're racing at the moment. So it's not reliant on instinct from anybody. It's not reliant on what we remember or what we know about the riders. It's about what is proven on their power stats. The riders' power stats recorded. Every single rider subject to rider verification for their performance to make sure that everything runs to plan. Twin power recording. Those verification steps, they are more exhaustive here on the Sunday Race Club than they are on other events on MyWhoosh. So if you want to go and take part in the team time trials, in scratch racing, one of the
you don't need all that
elimination races, no, you don't need to go through all those steps. But because we pay out big prizes, because we want to have that the premium race series, which tests everybody, that is what we do here on the Sunday Race Club. We check all of our riders all the way through their stats, checking their weight, their height, making sure that they've got the verification correct, making sure their power profiles match. Lots of tests I'm not allowed to tell you about because I'll be in trouble. Because of course, need to keep something up MyWhoosh to make sure that they're checking everything, and people can't just go around that.
Well, I've got one rider off the back at the moment of this pack, slowly I think trying to come back on, but in the mix, Zhang, Penner, McCarthy, Larson, Penner, Bassoni is in here, Van Shaw is here, Kalman, Catherine Fuhr, who took the win in California the first time out, 1 hour and 4 seconds. I predict a sub 1 hour race today because I think the second time out on a course, it gets quicker. And as I was chatting to someone this morning, the third time, well, historically, really interesting. The third time on a race course seems to be the fastest.
Yeah, really interesting, isn't it? First time out, riders hold lots back, I think, because they are not sure how much energy you need at the end. Second time out, riders are prepared to have a go, but don't always get it right. Third time out, generally, that's when you start to get it right. After that, I think people get a little bit tighter in terms of what they're up to and where they're at. Now, great to see our riders out. Not all our riders are in separate places. We've got Angelica Altamirano and Jermaine Prado, both riders from the Philippines.
Yeah, you can just see Altamirano's shadow in Prado's screen.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. These 2 riders together, racing in the same route. Good to see them. Away from Jermaine, I don't know whether we'll get away from Angelica today. She's looking very, very focused here on the group. Sometimes I think it takes a lot to break into our riders' race focus. They have got that sort of Terminator-esque laser beam stare that just means they're locked onto the screen, and the other riders.
I think we're going to have to move away from Arnie.
I might have a bit of an obsession.
Yeah, I think you do. Well, I'll tell you something. He Zhang, the rider from China in the pack in Category 1, putting in some phenomenal performances, qualifying for the World Championship semi-finals through the public open pathway. And the only rider from that open pathway to get into the top 20 in the semi-finals. Those results still to be verified, but there's some phenomenal performances from the women here in California out there.
And those verification, that final verification isn't with MyWhoosh, it's with the UCI, the governing body for cycle sport internationally around the globe. So MyWhoosh's job done, handed over to the UCI, and UCI now to do that final verification. Now, great to see Hao Zhang here, tucked in nice and low, really smooth, and just watching that style, really, because she's low over the bike there, really engaging the back and the muscles into the leg. That's a really nice, really nice style. I do like a nice.
She's currently
rider.
the China's women's road race champion. She rides for the China Live squad, which is the first Asian women's racing team out on the road in Asia. So, you know, a real groundbreaking rider.
And you can see that road background in that bike position. You can see that in the style with which she's riding, and it should translate, I think, in terms of how smart she rides as well, because so much of riding on the road is about saving energy and only using it at the critical times. You can't be profligate with your energy consumption.
That's not an Arlie line.
No, it's definitely not. That's definitely not. In fact, I don't even think it's from Forrest Gump either. So our riders out and on to the course. Hao Zhang looking absolutely smooth as on our cameras, and they're through the first of our sprint sectors here. The downtown LA sprint, you can see that as the riders go through, their times are logged as the fastest times through. And the fastest time through there, Julian Montgomery with a 15.856. The screen filled, absolutely filled with green jerseys of category 2. Now, normally, if all the riders were riding at an even effort, so they were all putting in like an 80% of their maximum effort, you would expect category 1 to be fastest, then 2, 3 and 4. But here, clearly, category 2 moving faster, and it gives us a great snapshot on what's happening in the racing at the moment. Category 1, some way back, I guess.
They are indeed some way back, around 30th.
Okay, long way back, let's say. And at the moment, that's really showing that the pace was off as they came through there, nobody on the attack. That has not continued because it looks like we've got a little bit of a move on the front. Talking of moves on the front, Brittany Litton clearly deciding that not only does she want to take the green jersey, but kicking on underway here, starting to wind things up. 7.4 kilometers at the moment covered for Brittany Litton, just stamping down on those pedals, looking very, very much like this is a move that she wants to stick going into this climb. Now, this is this first climb. It's not a categorized climb, but it takes us over the foothills here in California into the Area 52 zone and into the sprint. So this climb is basically the third biggest climb of the day. It's the first one, the biggest one that's not categorized, and it's a great moment to start to put the cat amongst the pigeons. And to shake things up somewhat. So it's time to see what she could do. Responses coming behind. You can see the number of red chevrons. The chevrons indicate what zone the riders are in. If they're going in through the orange and the yellow, then they are basically just starting to wind it up. If they're into the red, if they're going into zones 5 and 6, then they are really having to stamp on those pedals. Dorothy Gonzalez, one of our regular riders on the Sunday Race Club, a fantastic racer and rider. And there are some riders who really do animate the racing. They go on the attack. Brittany Litton's one, Gonzalez Ruhr, another of those riders. We see riders who then are smart. They sit and they wait for that sprint. And all these different riders, this mixed together, mixed in with the varying terrains and courses, making a difference. At the moment, Litton off the front, chasing group at 6 seconds, and riders being detached off the back of the group in category 2 on the right hand side of your screen. Just come back onto our big screen now. Category 1 though, well, they are heading in and through the second sprint of the day. This is the amusement park sprint, 5.1k to 5.3 kilometers. Again, a bit of a cruise through.
It is a cruise through. And
it's a drive-by.
No, it's a cruise through.
Or a drive-through.
Well, a drive-through, isn't that like where you pick up food on the way? I don't think
maybe
anybody's picking
they've
up
been
food.
refueled. I mean, they are closer to the time.
Well, they are, but Brittany Litton setting the fastest time there, 17 seconds, 0.357. Heo Zhang from Category 1. In fact, the Category 1 pack all rolling through together. Zhang, Holcroft, Columbi, Tidholm, Giovanni, Kalman, Belforth, Van Shaw, Fua rounding out the top 10. Nellie Larson in 11th, and Gina Van Rossum from Category 3, well, she goes through in 12th. Can I just say, I do just want to pick up something today, because we're in with Catherine Fua at the moment. No, I've got a cup of tea with me today, chamomile, nice and refreshing and calming this morning. And Fua,
maybe I should have some.
Fua is indeed right in the middle of the pack with Holcroft and McCarthy, Rona and Merle Bruni. Now, Merle Bruni, let's just have a little chat about Merle Bruni.
Yes,
so last week, she raced the World Championship semi-finals and finished in 4th place on the Friday.
Yes.
That weekend, she then went and won the long-distance duathlon World Championships.
Yes.
7 hours she raced in Switzerland after that World Championship semi-final on the Friday. What a weekend racing for her.
And it shows you, I think, that you don't have to just focus just on esports, that you can bring power and performance from outside if you have the training and the dedication that Merle Bruni clearly has.
Well, I tell you,
to do that.
A lot of these riders,
amazing. She must put some serious hours
in. A lot of
in.
these riders are multi-sport athletes. They come from different sporting disciplines and backgrounds. Some come from road mountain biking. Others come from skiing. Really different backgrounds, and some of them still competing in those areas. So obviously, duathlon, one of those things, as well as triathlon that Bruni excels in. But you know, she obviously loves her cycling, and her cycling is a very strong part and parcel of those multi-sport disciplines.
And if you're a multi-sport athlete, then it's going to be to your benefit riding on MyWhoosh, because MyWhoosh signing up in the partner for Super Try now. So if you haven't seen Super Try, have a watch.
Yes,
it's going to be really, really exciting.
Go
to see.
and watch.
Just having a quick run across to the screens, because Roberta Bassoni on the left-hand side of the screen in the pack at the moment, because we are now going into the same place we saw Brittany Litton push onwards. We're seeing a push off the front at the moment. 3 riders just starting to break clear. The initial kick off from the front, 1 rider, then 2, then 3, and the pack are having to respond here, and this really is putting riders under pressure. You can see Sophie Giovanni here at the moment, really trying to wind up riders at the back here. Emma Belforth, Stephanie Sidlick need to stay in the wheels. They can't afford to let the gaps go here, because if they do, they're going to be in trouble. Sidlick a long way back, 1:19 down. Belforth's 2 seconds down at the moment. Very easy to lose ground on this course, and once you've lost that ground, it's so hard to make back, because you don't have that advantage of sitting in the draft.
And this
the pressure is on.
This is one of those innocuous areas of the course. It's not a classified climb. It comes very early in the course, you know, between the amusement park sprint and the Area 52 sprint. It's just a bump in the road, and you can see the gradient here, not huge. It's currently sat at about 2.3, dropping down now, and probably an average gradient around 2.5%. This, I'm going to call it a lump in the road. It's not really a climb, it's more of a rolling segment. But I'll tell you something, Kolczynski is drilling it on the front at the moment, and really making the use of the fact that there's very little climbing on this course until we get to the 23.6 kilometre mark.
I'm going to argue with you now.
Ooh.
This is not even going to be a discussion. I think you're absolutely wrong there. This, I don't think, is a bump. I think this is a climb. I think, for me, the height gain on this is enough to class it as a climb. It is distinctive enough to be a climb in its own right. And when you say there's not much climbing, when we drop off the top of your bump, off the other side, we're going to descend down to the Area 52 sprint. We're then going to head out, and we've got a long section from the Area 52 sprint. It climbs consistently all the way to the top of Hawk Hills. So we're climbing from 11.3 in this course to 24.7.
Well,
so that's 14 kilometres of climbing. It might not be a massive gradient, but for somebody who can climb, like Kolczynski, she actually has a great opportunity to put her climbing skills into action.
Well, I don't disagree, actually. But funnily enough, we are seeing the Category 4 riders who are out of the start pen first. And you can see, if you look on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, there's red dots all back down the road. So the pack is well and truly split. And at the moment, we've got 3 riders clear, putting in a bit of a dig and an attack. And it's Bremner and Idzik who are part and parcel of that attack. Those 2 riders with Ella Vink. Oh, that is dangerous. And I'll tell you something, those riders who are 7 seconds back are going to need to watch out, because Vink, Idzik and Bremner are capable of staying clear till the end.
And I think for me, one of the key things in this breakaway is that everybody in that group behind will know they're dangerous, but with only 3 clear, they're not going to want to bring everybody up. They'll want to bridge across. That's what we're seeing here. Kristen Hamilton really on the attack here. She's pushing. She wants to go across. She kicked really hard out that group, because when you've got a big pack like that, nobody wants to do the work and chase down the group and drag the bunch, because you know you're basically just being the donkey on the front pulling the car.
But you know that Petit Four squad do never ever want to be outside of the action. They need to be in the mix. I think that small sweet feeling of having to drive your way forward and actually be in the mix at the front of this Category 4 race, part and parcel of that team's DNA. Kristen Hamilton moving up and over to Vink, Bremner and Idzik is now a leading group of 4.
So 3 become 4 behind. The gap is at 5 seconds to Bago, Alsek, Goodall and Sarasuk. That's in our Category 4 race. Category 3 in blue, well, looks like Francisco de Silva really starting to push on here again, trying to use this part of the course to wind it up. Hadlock, ever attentive as always. Fearsome competitor Angela Hadlock, a rider who we know is going to be on the chase, along with Piccolo here. Really interesting. Herrera in the mix. This pressure that's been put on the front, this answer, it's going to potentially bring them back in. Angel and Hadlock on the left-hand side of your screen, in Burson on the right-hand side of your screen, in avatar form, working hard here to make sure they don't lose contact with those riders in front. They don't want to let riders go at this stage, and I think keeping in touch, the riders here want to stay in touch. I think this will bring the group together as a pack. I don't think we're going to see this breaking and splitting as much as the Category 4 just has done. And that's in part because of where it is on the course. They're a little bit further back, and you don't have as big a climb and drop. The rollers that are on this climb on the way in towards the Golden Gate sprint really are quite tough. And I think this is where we're going to see more action.
Oh, this is a big push.
Yeah,
this is a big push at the moment. A small bump in the road, and take a look at Rebecca Johnson. She's up and out of the saddle and really having to work to stay in the group. She's kicking around 4.5 watts per kilo, just sat back down again. But she really needed to do that because the stretch is on the front, and De Silva has really been working hard. She's got Hadlock at the front, Barrigan at the front as well. Herrero is there too. You know, these riders really working and pushing at the moment.
Rebecca Johnson taking the prize for having the most training by lifting the turbo trainer and moving it, because she has been, we've seen her in more locations out and riding on the Sunday Race Club than anybody I can think of by quite some margin. Very impressive, the number of different locations that Rebecca Johnson goes racing from on the Sunday Race Club.
Normally by the side of her camper van in an amazing location.
But even you know, just like Bruce, it must be part of a training regime. Strength training is pick up the turbo train and move it to a different route today, and that's how I'm going to do. Unlike Isabella Bryson, who is here on our screens, now the regular pair in there with Kirsten Hamilton. So it's Bryson and Hamilton together again in the room training away. It's a very, very organised.
I love how neat that garage is.
You've just got.
I'm assuming it's a garage, but it might be a utility room or just a pain cave.
I've seen the state of the places you train in, Emma, and I have to say that your neatness, the attention to detail on notes is not reflected in your pain caves. It has to be said.
No.
Okay, shall we get back to the racing?
Yes.
Instead of just abusing your lack of tidying up of your pain cave.
Well, I'll tell you something. Ollie Jones tidied his pain cave, and look what happened to him.
That's true. Maybe you would be race winning on a regular basis. If,
maybe an uncluttered space equals an uncluttered mind.
So anyway, with Feng Shui over on the left-hand side of the studio here, on the right-hand side, the Yorkshireman who doesn't know Feng Shui from Chow Mein, currently on the way up the climb. Our riders are climbing.
Oh, I can't believe you
So,
said.
well, I don't. It's like
Well, I'll tell you something.
Let's
Catherine,
arrange the room to make your break. Actually, I have to agree.
did
with
you know?
Emma.
Apparently, if you live in a house where the stairs are open to the door, to the front door, all your money flows out of your life. I do actually know some Feng Shui.
There we go. Right, okay. Please do get in touch with @Biking Emma with tips to make your house faster when you race. Not so that you lose money or you make money, but so that you can race faster. So we want your tips, please, to @Biking_Emma, @Biking_Emma on Instagram. All your tips.
How to ensure you have a happy, healthy racing life.
How do you arrange your house, your training room to be faster? No cheating techniques, just how to make it faster. Is that by having a picture of a mountain that you've climbed once upon a time and put your fastest time on there? Is it a prize that you once won in a competition?
Use a red
in front
bike.
Of you? Is it a bike that is particularly lucky for you or that you've gone well on in the past? Do let Emma know @Biking_Emma. Don't bother sending it to me. I just want to know how you go out and race. Now,
Celine Colombi off the front in the pack at the moment. And I say off the front because this rolling pack in Category 1 have indeed now put a gap back into the group behind them. Rona, Kalman and Belforth. Sidlick in the chasing group. So Larson, Fuhr, Tidholm, Hermansen, McCarthy, Colombi, Holdcroft, all in this leading pack now.
I'm just going to give you a quick rumour. Celine Colombi has just ridden past our production crew. Do you know why? They've just gone past. There was the big screens on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side were all the consoles where everybody works normally for Whoosh Mission Control. Whoosh Mission Control, all our production teams sit there, look at multiple screens. I think that if we looked carefully, we would see our production team on the left-hand side there as our riders go through.
I'll give them a wave next time we're in California.
So please, if you do go through, give them a wave. Not in the cheap seats here, they're in the control room. Because, of course, this is the fantastic control centre that the riders are going in and through at the moment. They've been through the Area 52, the sprints, and they're at 13.4K at the moment. Meanwhile, a little bit further down the road, 18.6K covered, and you can see at the moment Kuala Omar Al-Kasab is already seeing the Category 3 group come in. Good push by her just to hold onto the wheels, just going up onto the climb, up onto this bridge here. Lots of riders from all over the globe out and riding. And I have to say, it's great to see new riders when we have new riders out and racing. And if you have a tough time on race number 1, you're in good company because pretty much every single rider and racer will have had a tough time in their first race. Because I always used to say, it takes, even if you're really experienced, your first race at any discipline or doing anything is one where you're just learning how to turn up, clip the pedals in, make your race start and head back out again. After that, then you can think about racing. You've just got to get onto the start line. That is a success and a win in itself in your very first ride and race.
Well, that's very true. And Gina Van Rossum on our screen at the moment in the mix, in the pack here in Category 3. Rebecca Johnson, Melissa Simpkin, all in there. It's hard work, being in this group and in this pack. Rosalina Barragan is there. Alina Lopez, Claudia Hyde, Tanya Holweiler, all in the mix and all riding strongly.
And Gina Van Rossum from the Netherlands. The Netherlands traditionally in an orange skin. So interesting to see the guitar in the background there, matching in with the Netherlands kit.
Well,
that's real dedication to your nation.
Well, I'll tell you something. Our Category 4 riders were the first out of the pen today. You can see them on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. This is the leading group in Category 3, and they are motoring through the Category 4 pack and working their way up towards the top 10. Now, on the right-hand side of your screen, these are the leaders on the road. Category 4, they were the first out the start pen. They've raced for 38 minutes. Category 3 leaders, 33 minutes. They started 5 minutes behind. Category 2 started 5 minutes further back, and then Category 1. So Category 1 left a start pen 15 minutes behind Category 4 today. And Vink Bogren, Idzik Bago, Alzat Francis and Bremner all together on the right-hand side of your screen, which tells me that group of 4 that we saw last time didn't manage to stay clear.
No, the compression, the roller coaster type course that we have on this little section on this climb, clearly taking its toll. Now, the next big obstacle in front of them, and it's pretty much literally in front of them, is the Hawk Hills. That's where they're heading. They are in front of Category 2, who are on this same section. This is the twisting section as you come up and through Alcatraz, where we see the riders putting the brakes in, putting the moves in, trying to open up. They're trying to get away. They're trying to escape the pack, to bust open the door of the jail cell and get away and get clear of the rest of the inmates stuck in that pack.
Well, Donna Wagner, part and parcel of this pack, and look how hard she was working on that punchy
100%.
section.
100%. It is so hard to get clear here. What I really love, you come over the bridge, the wonders of MyWhoosh. You come over the bridge, come into Alcatraz, you go into the prison, you ride around the prison, you get out of the bridge on the other side. But in the middle of this, where it twists and turns, you can see just how hard this is. You can see how tough it is, because you can see how hard everybody's working. You see riders flicking into the red, coming back off. It really tests the ability to change your pedal revs and your souplesse, cycling term for those not steeped in cycling parlance.
It beats an Arnie term.
It does, doesn't it? Souplesse is a really wonderful term for your ability to change your revs and to be flexible and really be smooth on those pedals when you rev up and down. And rather than changing gear, using those pedal revs, really effective way of going through, getting out of the saddle, sitting back down again, being flexible in that, really key. Now, one rider who really sort of emphasized that is Julia Walkenhurst. You can see Julia at the moment just on your left-hand side of your screen, quickly out of the saddle. You can see this pack just coming up onto the bridge on the route out, the escape from Alcatraz Island, heading out and across, going up over this big long bridge here, just gets out the saddle, stamps down on the pedals, uses that momentum to kick down, to stay nice tucked into the pack, staying in the draft here. 30 minutes of racing done, 18.5 kilometers plus covered. Nice big pack here. This is playing into the hands of those people who can climb, because we are going to make our way. The first of the categorized climb comes in. Hawk Hills climb, 23.6k. If you're a climber, you want to stay until you hit those climbs, and then you want to hit them hard.
Well, I'll tell you, our Category 4 leading pack have just gone through the Golden Gate Sprint, which finishes at 22.5k, 1.1 kilometres from that Hawk Hills climb. They are moving in to the climbing section of this course.
And really, the last third of this course is the crescendo of the course, isn't it? This is where you get those two climbs coming in. First of all, the Hawk Hills, that 1.1k hill. Then the Spring Road climb, 6.3k. Tanya Hohlweiler here in the Category 3 pack, working really well here. And you can see they are steadily moving their way through. They're catching rider after rider in the red jerseys in Category 4. The leading group of Category 4 have smashed people apart, really, and they're already onto the Hawk Hill.
Well, they have indeed smashed it apart. 9 riders, I think, in contention in Category 4, having gone through that last sprint. We do have another 5 riders through now, but they are not moving through as quickly. So Category 4 now well and truly on the Hawk Hills. You can see the climb, it kicks immediately at 10% at the bottom. Nasty start, but it's been a long warm-up. 23.6 kilometres. Well, is Bridget Bremner coming to the fore? She's feeling fresh today. Alzat Francis, Idzit Goodall, Bago Vink and Bogren all in the mix here. Our riders in Category 4 now on the climb.
And look at this, Bremner tapping out a rhythm on the front. The answer coming behind Alzit, Bago, Francis, Goodall, Bogren, Fink on the way. Red chevrons all over the screens here as everybody tries to answer. Bremner still holds that gap as they come into this tight right-hand turn. You can see as they climb up in through the pine trees, in through the firs here on the mountainside, in between the big rock walls. This is a good move by Bremner. She's putting the pressure on everyone else, and even if she doesn't break anybody off this group, she's putting on the pain, she's putting on the hurt, she's making them suffer. Come off this climb and do it again. We have a couple of little bumps on the way in, either side of the Western Movie Set Sprint. Before we hit our final climb, I think you could do some damage, particularly if you're a strong rider and not necessarily a climber, because this is short. You can put a real big punch in and make the climbers work. Try and take some of the sting out of that final climb from the climbers, and anybody who can't climb, well, they're going to be in trouble here.
Well, they are going to be in trouble here because this really is a finish of climbing, and that will suit the climbers. And Sarasu is in 10th place at the moment. She's leading the charge behind. That's the group behind 4 riders that we can see. And Sarasu, well, she's probably the strongest climber there. Absolutely motoring now. Can she motor her way back to the group ahead? Oh, I don't think so, because in 9 riders, the competition is going to be really fierce for those top 5 positions today.
And it's a short climb. We're already seeing the leading group on the right-hand side. Halfway up they climb. Left-hand side of your screen, you can see the distance is only 200 metres, 225 metres or so, separating the leading group from Sarasu, but she's really got to push on here. There is a very short time before we see the leaders go over the top of the climb, diving down the slopes and into that descent. The pace will pick up. They won't be doing 23 kilometres an hour. They're going to be doing much more in excess of that, well over twice that pace on that descent down. This is going to be really key for Sarah. So you really got to push now to try and close the gap. She's opened a gap of 6 seconds on the chasers behind her, but you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, that radar view, you can just about make out that archway. It's around the tight left-hand turn. So we can sweep round to the right. There's a 90 left. They're coming towards the top of the climb as Category 3 come in towards the base. These are the leaders, Jones and co. The pack are on the climb. This is where we see who can stay with the climbers when the pressure goes down. Already seeing a move on the front. Van Rossum trying to answer, so is Heidelos, Howeiler, Barragan. Everybody starting to go into the red as the pace picks up on the front.
20 riders in that Category 3 pack going into the bottom of the climb at 23.6 kilometres here today in California. The sun is shining on the riders and the stretch on the pack as they push on. The nasty pace of the early part of this Hawk Hills climb, 10%. Now, shortly, the gradient will just give our riders some respite as Elos, Holweiler, Van Rossum, Hadlock, Herrera, Johnson and De Gracia. Well, the pack is absolutely motoring because it's Gina De Gracia on the front, nailing this climb.
And the pace that is set on the front here, we're seeing gaps open. We're seeing riders frantically scrambling to close the gaps down. Time and time again, the gap opens, then it's closed down. Different rider comes to the front, puts some more pace on. Riders who maybe be on the offensive start drifting back. Everybody has to give it everything here. This really is a dangerous time for anybody who is feeling the pace, feeling the climb, feeling the gradient here. It's not an easy start. This is the sort of profile I must admit I absolutely hate. You start steep at the top, bottom, and then it eases as you come up towards the top with steps in there. Because what happens is you go into the red on that first part, you push too hard, you've got a long way to pay for it. Pace it right at the start, then kick over the top. You can open a massive gap. Herrera really pushing on the front. Hadlock or with her. You can see that distinctive red hair of the avatar.
Look at the
there
stretch
of
on the group.
Right tucked in, and the behind. Those gaps are going to continue to open. We're already seeing, I reckon, at least 4 riders in trouble here at the back. The pace being set by Herrera, Hadlock, Takova and Simkin on the front of this group. They are the leading riders. Behind, there are people in trouble, and they will not see the front of this race again.
No, no, they won't, because Herrera is absolutely nailing it. She's up and out the saddle. She's pushing on. The look of concentration on her face at the moment. Melissa Simpkin, Angel Hadlock, Nicola Takova, Rebecca Johnson, Van Rossum able to stay with her, but Herrera just keeps pushing.
Great move there by Rosa Herrera. A real climbing ability coming to the front. Definitely at the moment looking very, very strong, looking very, very good. And I said to see Rebecca Johnson chasing, but we got to see what happens behind. Johnson is making that group. Let's see the riders as they continue to push here. The riders are on their way up to the top. This leading group really, really working hard. The leading group pushing on. Lots of riders now making contact. They go over the top. The pace picks up. You've got to be in the lead group. It's going to descend very quickly indeed. And once we get on the steep section and that gradient picks up, despite it weaving to the left, to the right, the speed will really take its toll. You can see the left-hand side, those gaps opening. Riders over the top. Lead group at the moment are clear. The chase on behind in Category 3.
Oh, well, we went from 20 to 8.
Will we have 8? I think we're probably going to be nearer 10 as we come in the base, but we'll see if that guess, prediction, estimate will be correct. Meanwhile, Category 2 just approaching the base of the Hawk Hill Climb. So they're following the Category 3 riders. The Category 3 leaders up this climb. In with Philippa Hill at the moment, taking that tight right-hand turn underneath the polka dot archway. Points on the climbs as there are in the sprints. The polka dot skin suit rather than the green skin suit up for grabs for whoever can score the most points on today's climbs. Again, not for the prize money, but for bragging rights. It's a good indicator, a good snapshot on the racing and who is going well. So here we go. Great racing at the moment. Kim Benilla in this pack, fighting to stay in contention with this group, not wanting to get any distance, maybe looking to put in an answering attack off the front and really put people in trouble on the left-hand side of the pack. Dives to the middle now, wanting to stay tucked nicely in. 300 watts coming down as she holds a position here, looking very, very strong. Manila looking like she's got the pace here to answer the moves on the front. Will we see her put an attack in? It wouldn't surprise me. Prado, though, and Wagner on the front. I mean, they're doing 6, 7, 8 watts per kilo here on the attack when they're putting the pace down.
Well, they are indeed, and Vanilla in the mix, and she's in the same room as Ultramarino and Prado. That's 3 riders riding in real life together and racing on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Donna Wagner, Sarah London, Ursula Kasani doing an amazing job at the moment at the front of this category. 2 back, Hannah Giannatti, the young rider, still in the mix with Kimberly Miller, but it's Gonzalez Rua who is also on the front of this pack, absolutely nailing it at the moment.
This is the terrain that suits her, where you can kick on, you can put that big smash in, really force the gap, really force the racing. We talk about animators, we talk about riders who set the pace. They're the conductors at the front of the orchestra that is the pack. They are the people who are absolutely giving it everything. This is fantastic to see. This is what we love about the racing. We want the riders to set the pace, to set it down. These riders have to absolutely nail it over the top of the climb. This is critical. Make sure that you are the rider who is the hammer and not the nail, to use yet last week's analogy.
Well, there are a number of analogies coming out in today's racing, and it is really nice to see you. Drop your analogies to Matt Fix-A-Pain on Instagram. Well, London, Kasani, Yaramillo, Walkenhurst, Giannatti and Prado, they don't need any form of misrepresentation, because Asulia Kasani is up and out of the saddle, ensuring she's right on the wheels here of Gonzalez, Rua and London. The push is on, the pace is high. They're continuing to pick up riders and pass earlier starters here. This category 2 race is now alight. They have dropped riders and scattered them like skittles all the way back down the Hawk Hills. This is the leading group in category 2, and it's still a fair-sized group. They're going to go into the Spring Road climb, and that is where this race is going to be decided.
It is. The selections are being made. This is absolutely key, coming over the top. Emma and I comparing notes in the studio here, like frantically trying to keep up to see who's in here. So we have at the moment a leading group, looks like 6 riders in there, 7, 8, maybe going to get 9 riders together. So a very similar pattern in category 2 as we saw in categories 3 and 4. Category 1, they're on the way in. Same place that we picked up all our preceding groups on this left-hand turn, swings round, right-hand turn in underneath the banner. What will the Hawk Hills do to the leading group in Category 1? It is already a smaller group. That can change the dynamics. But remember, these riders are the top of esports riders. These are the riders that we know can put down some phenomenal numbers in terms of power. They've got the tactics. You don't get to be this good and this far up the categories without being able to deal it out.
Well, category 1 pack coming into the base of the Hawk Hill climbs, 15 riders, and it's Kolczynski going straight to the front. It's a climb. Kristen Kolczynski cannot help herself. She wants to be right on the front.
I tell you something, her DNA isn't a helix spiral, it's just a big uphill climb.
It is.
That's what it is. It's in her DNA.
If you map her DNA, it's
it just goes up.
Gradient.
It's just like, goes up, kick legs, goes up, kick legs.
Well, I'll tell you something else who's matching her, and that's Catherine Furr. Catherine Furr coming to the fore. So is Mary Kate McCarthy. How Zhang is up and out the saddle. Take a look at that. You can see the pain on her face at the moment. She's digging deep. She's staying with these women. She, I think, is a rider who is just going to get better and better on the Sunday Race Club. Holdcroft, Bruni, Kolchinsky, Zhang coming to the fore right at the front. These women, absolutely phenomenal, world-class esports racers.
And racing here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club in qualifier race number 3. A real who's who of international riders on the front here. We've got Kristen Kolchinsky from the United States of America. You've got Mary Kate McCarthy from New Zealand. You've got Mel Bruni from Germany. We have got Maria Holcroft from Great Britain. Celine Colombia. Roberta Bassoni from Italy. Hao Sang from China. Literally around the globe. Switzerland represented by Catherine Furr. We have got riders from all around the globe racing in all 4 categories at the moment. Category 1 on the Hawk Hills climb. This group, though, they are shedding riders. They're shedding them one by one. On the front, though, the pace is absolutely frantic. And this leading group, as they go underneath the banner, have shed now. I'm just taking a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. I reckon 4 or 5 riders have gone off the back. As they go over the top, Emma's frantically scrolling on the screens to see how many riders in this group.
7 riders
wow.
left. Let me confirm to you, Mary Kate McCarthy, Maria Holdcroft, Catherine Furr, Merle Bruni, Kristen Kolchinsky, Celine Colombia and Hao Zhang. The 7 riders left in the mix in category 1. It's not a long gap back. It's 8 seconds that they lost. Bassoni, Engström and Hermansen are leading the charge behind. Larson is there as well as Tidholm too.
And this is surely setting it up for a climbing battle on the last ascent of the day, the Spring Road climb. The category 1 riders coming into the fore on the Hawk Hills as we go up that climb. Mary Kate McCarthy, a rider who really has progressed. We talked about her before a number of times on the Sunday Race Club and how she's really got into this platform, really racing well, really racing the style of the Sunday Race Club. The way that she's doing it is fantastic to see. These riders, though, behind, they've got to push. This is the chasing group. Bassoni just on your screens there with Engström for company with Tidholm, Hermansen, Larson. They are ahead of Van Short and Penner, though.
Bassoni is the odd one out. She's Southern Europe rather than Northern Europe.
Yeah, but there's some big climbs in both areas. Like,
well,
some
no,
long
that
climbs.
is very, very true. And interesting to see Bassoni right in the mix of a big pack of Swedish riders.
Maybe Roberta Bassoni has some Viking descendants somewhere in her DNA. You never know.
You never know. But,
do you know Viking is a word, it means raider.
Does it?
It does, and I think that sums up the riders in there from Sweden. They're raiding, they're like a big raiding party, sweeping their way through the California hills. No, they're just
phenomenal cyclists.
Yeah, you don't know that Viking raiders were?
Phenomenal cyclists.
Yes. I bet if you took that DNA and you transferred it now, they'd be flying.
Well, anyway, Serena Vittori is flying in category 2. She's in the leading group and they are pushing on at 28.4 kilometres. Category 2 are now on the Spring Road climb, and further up that climb is category 4. They're at 30 kilometres on the right-hand side of your screen. This is the leading group, and Katie Bago is the rider just off the back of the group at the moment. She's going to need to really push on here so she doesn't get distanced. She's sitting in 7th place overall in this category 4 race. A little bit further back down the race field at 27.4, we can start to see some of the riders who have been dropped through the field.
And this is where it's really key to push, isn't it? Because the Sunday Race Club, it's not just about our race leaders, it's about all of our riders. And our riders really pushing to make sure that they keep position, that they put in that performance. And this is where this is a training. This is really about pushing the riders forwards and keeping on moving. So keep digging in, keep on pushing, keep on digging and get yourself to the top, get that climb done. It's all part of that learning and training experience. Now,
well, take a look at this. The catch has been made. We said there were indeed 7 riders clear and a chase group of 4 or 5. Well, that chase group have done a phenomenal job. Bassoni, Hermansen, Tidholm et al. That's the lead group up ahead. It's 2 seconds. Now, Interestingly, the push has come from the front of the leading group. They do not want this catch to happen. They don't want those 5 riders to push on and get close the gap. So it's now 2 seconds gone out to 5 seconds, and that's because the leading group are punching and punching hard. They want to stay away. Do you know what? They're going to do it.
So let's give you a quick summary of where we're at the moment. 4 categories set off with 5-minute gaps in between. Those riders are split on the rows by 5 minutes on the way as they started. As we've gone through the course, we've come down to small groups. All 4 groups of leaders now coming into the final climb here. This is really, really quick. This is really fast racing. 4 groups of riders, category 1 in yellow, 2 in green, 3 in blue, category 4 in red. The riders 35k to cover. Emma, as these riders make their way up here, are we going to see the catch being made? Are we going to see category 4 being caught by 3, by 2, by 1?
Well, at 30.6 kilometres, a leading group in category 4 have got, well, 4.4 kilometres to go. The category 1 leading pack at 28.1. Do you know, they're not actually too far behind, but it's still more than, 2 kilometres. So it's a really good question. I don't think they are going to get caught. It would have to be a phenomenal performance in the last part of this climb on the Spring Road climb. There's going to be a lot of competition in that Category 1 race, but I don't think Category 1 will catch. I'm not saying, though, that Category 3 won't, because Category 3 are 200 metres behind.
And absolutely climbing like demons at the moment. I mean, the fearsome battle in Category 3, in all our categories, is a fearsome battle. But the fight in Category 3 really has propelled them forward, and they are moving very strong. And that pack, I mean, it is a who's who of Category 3 at the moment. We've seen a who's who of Category 2 in Category 2. The same in Category 1. And this course, I think, really up to this point, of all 4 groups on the climb, has produced some really hard racing, but some periods of recovery as well, which might let somebody else in.
Yeah, I agree. It has indeed given some periods of recovery to the pack, but I'll tell you something, Katie Bago's not been able to stay with that leading group in Category 4, so it is now down to 6 riders, and they're very, very well matched. In Category 3, they're moving on and moving strongly. Hadlock, Holweiler, Simkin, Vasquez and Turkova. Herrera is in there as well. You know, these are really well-matched groups, and it's going to be really interesting. Someone's going to have to work really hard to go off the front of both of those 2 leading packs.
And that may well lead it into a sprint. The end of this climb is really tricky as well, isn't it? Because we go to the top of the climb and then we continue onwards. The finish of the climb segment, 500 metres before the finish of the race route. So that is going to be interesting to see what happens as we go over the top. Right-hand side of your screen, Elevate trying to break clear of the riders, trying to open up the gap on everybody else.
I think she's seen the chase from behind, because on the bottom left-hand corner of the Category 4 leading pack screen, you can see the leading group, you can see Bago, the dot off the back, and then the big blob of blue, and that is the group on the left-hand side of your screen who are leading the Category 3 race. They're about to sweep up Katie Bago, the rider in the polka dot skin suit. That's the polka dot skin suit wearer from Category 4, because Rosa Herrera is wearing the polka dot skin suit in the pack behind in the Category 3 race. So Bago now being dropped by the Category 3 leading group as they tap their way up the climb. And now we've got this 6 rider group leading Category 3. One of these riders is going to miss out on the top 5, you know. It's going to be a right battle royale to see which 5 come to the fore.
5 prizes at the top of the climb in each of our categories. The prize is equal in the women's and men's race fields, as they are always on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. That's the same is true, of course, of our team prizes the last Sunday in the month. This qualifier race number 3, at the moment all 4 groups of riders on the climb. You can see them on your screens. Category 1, the furthest distance to cover. They're currently approaching the 30-kilometre mark, just past the 30k mark. Category 2 heading for 32k. Category 3 and Category 4 leaders, well, they're about 100 metres further up the road. The catch switch is not far off being made. If you expect a Jaws reference, you're not getting it because that is the wrong side of America.
Well, it is indeed, and none of these riders are the wrong side of the break. So Catherine Fouet in the mix, Julia Walkenhurst pushing on, Angel Hadlock working strongly. Look at the effort there to stay in that group. Her heart rate is currently 181 on screen. Alzat's is 189. They are all so high in their heart rates. Heart rate's very individual to the rider. We have seen some of our riders top 200
Ouch.
in the final stages of this. If I went to 200, I would be very concerned. My heart rate maxes out at about 183.
Wow. Yeah, 200 would be not good. And it is a very personal thing, so you need to know the riders inside out, and that's what, of course, the verification process on MyWhoosh does to each and every single rider on the way through.
Look at that. That's the catch. So the Category 3 leading pack are indeed now catching the Category 4 leading pack. This is a danger zone for those riders in that Category 4 pack because it gets confusing with riders all over the place. Some of our Category 4 riders will see what's happening from behind. They will dig hard to try and stay with the group, but the question is, you've got to be able to stay with the group, and it's Bremner who's distanced off the back of the Category 4 leading pack at the moment. The Category 3 charge is coming. It's sweeping up Idzik and Alzat. Those are the next two riders together in red. They're going to go straight over the top of those two riders and then move towards the leading three because Ella Vink's push has worked. Ella Vink is 5 seconds up the road. She's dropped Francis. She's dropped Hamilton. Simone and Francis now, this is the opportunity for them to jump on board the express train, which is the Category 3 leaders, and see if they can get them to tow them back to Ella Vink.
Well, let's see if that's going to be the case. It's such a hard following good riders who are absolutely on their limit.
Well, you'd be a Category 3 rider if you were good enough to do it.
Yes, I think there's maybe the odd exception to that rule, which is if you're a great climber and you're just taking a packet early on, and then you maybe come good again, you could maybe follow, but it would be an exceptional ride. But
look at the difference. Yeah. They're climbing at nearly 1 watt per kilo higher.
Yeah, and they're holding that. I mean, I'm not going to call it easy for Category 3 in any way, shape or form. You can see the effort that's being put in here by Tanya Howeiler, holding on to these wheels, looking to stay in position. 32.6k, 35k, the race distance in our women's race here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. And at the moment, Tanya Howeiler right in the mix. If this group stays together and we don't lose anybody in the next, let's say, 2k, we're coming in towards the final kilometre. Would you be inclined to try and put an attack in over the very top of the climb and into the finish, or would you think that's a bit of a fool's errand and you really just got to wait for the sprint?
Well, I have to say with this group, it could be very difficult either strategy, and it would depend very much on how you feel on the day at the point in time, what you've done that week, and whether your legs, sometimes you think you feel good, you stand up and you go for the effort and your legs start screaming at you and you realize you've got nothing left, and sometimes you don't know that until you try.
Yeah, sometimes I guess it's that get out the saddle, mind says go and the legs say no. Let's see. At the moment, definitely Sharon Miller's legs are going, yep, let's go, because on the front here, kicking down hard, being followed by Walkenhurst, Wagner, Paulson, Giannatti, the green jerseys of Category 2, starting to stretch out. And at the moment, Gonzalez Ruiz, the rider at the back of this group, losing ground along with Giannatti. 3 seconds off the riders behind on the right-hand side of your screen from the leading group. The gaps are opening and there's damage being done. Left-hand side of your screen, Bruni, Kolczynski, McCarthy at the moment. They've definitely dropped at least one rider off here, if not more. Looks like Holcroft in trouble at the moment. Kolczynski, Fua, McCarthy in the leading group. Colombi is in the mix as well. This is going to be interesting. Holcroft battling to stay in touch. Bersoni, 26 seconds down.
Well, Bersoni, really interesting to see her in the mix. Yes, but she was part and parcel of that 5-rider group that closed the gap and came back. So she's already done a huge effort in terms of her term to bring that group back together. So Holdcroft here now not able to close down the group ahead, and it's McCarthy, Bruni, Kolczynski and Fua, the 4 riders up the road.
And Fua on the front here, really trying to wind this up. I think the next rider she's going to see is going to be Holly Bergen in Category 2. They come sweeping past Bergen here. So it's Fua along with McCarthy. Then Bruni, who comes across the gap. Kolczynski's got to come across here and make this group. She's lost a second at the moment. This kick is going to be critical.
Yeah, and that's the issue when you're coming through these sections and coming past these riders who started earlier. It does get a little confusing, and if one of the riders puts an attack in off the front, you really have to pay so much attention. A little bit of inattention and you really can be distanced. Look at Kolczynski's number. She's putting out 7 watts per kilo to try and close the gap, and well, that's because Mary Kate McCarthy is on the front and absolutely dialing this at the moment. I tell you, she is getting stronger and stronger and really understanding how to race on MyWhoosh and how to race the Sunday race Cup. She's got her competition dialed and she is really coming to the fore, McCarthy.
She picked a moment there. It's steeper. It's a steep section coming around those twists and turns as you come in underneath the 2 wings. You come in and through, twisting, turning, steep. Perfect breakaway territory. Get outside, get out of mind, put in the attack. Play to your strength, put that explosive power down, then tap out a rhythm. 3 seconds back to Fua. Now 4, 5. It's going to be interesting to see can Fua, Columbia, Bruni and Co pull her back. This is a race-winning attack if it pays off. This could be a race-losing attack if she's gone too deep too early. Going to have to see how that plays out. Left-hand side, Category 1. Right-hand side, you've got Category 3, and it's Simkin on the move at the moment, starting to put the pressure on. Howeiler has lost contact. 5 riders left now in Category 3.
Well, they are indeed. Simkin, Herrera, Vasquez, Hadlock and Takova pushing on up the climb. They don't have far to go, just 900 metres now. And on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, you can see the top of the climb, the polka dot banner coming 500 metres before the finish. They do not have far to go, and Melissa Simkin is dialing this on the front. She wants the win today. Can Simkin make it? Vasquez is pulling the group back. Hadlock is taking a tow. Herrera is pushing on from the back. So is Turkova. Howeiler is the rider missing out. She's 26 seconds down the climb, but Melissa Simkin is absolutely pushing on today. She's dreaming of a win in California.
Who's it going to be? We're going to get a snapshot of the times of the pace of the gaps that have opened up as they come up towards the banner. But you can see from the course profile, top right-hand side, this is not a simple run to the line. You've got a left, a right, a left, and then a left-hand bend. So really tight turns coming in up and through the pine trees, which make it these firs that make it difficult to see. Simkin goes over the top, 17 minutes 24 for that climb. That is a fast time of the climb. It probably won't withstand the attacks of Category 2 and 1 on the time up there, but she goes through nearly 3 seconds quicker than the chase behind.
Well, she does indeed, and the chase behind is indeed at 3 seconds. That's Vasquez. At 4 seconds is Herrera and Hadlock. Turkova's now at 9. She's split the group of 5 leaders in Category 3. Rosa Herrera, though, is having none of it. She wants back on. The gradient has flattened. She knows the finish line is coming. That's the UCI ban around the corner. Can Herrera catch Simkin? Will Simkin stay clear? Melissa Simkin is your winner in Category 3. She stays clear of Rosa Herrera. Phenomenal battle from our Category 3 riders in Qualifier 3 in September.
Awesome riding in the category. Those that came in through line in Category 3, Melissa Simkin from the rest of the battlers behind. Great chase down there, Emma.
It was amazing. And Rosa Herrera there showing you that you can close the gap down after that polka dot banner at the top of the Spring Road climb if you've got something left. Well, the rider who has something left is Ella Vink on the right-hand corner of your screen. She is at 100 metres to go. She's about to see the UCI banner. She climbed with 6 riders leading that Category 4 race. She broke clear on the climb and she's rewarded with the win today.
15 seconds clear as she came in and underneath the banner there. Fantastic ride in Category 4. The rest of those riders still chasing to the line in Category 2 now. The leaders up over the top of the climb through the polka dot banner. Dana Wagner collecting the polka dot skin suit with the yellow bandana on. The rider with the green jersey, the black shorts is Yara Miller. This surely is going to be a 2-up sprint. Walkenhurst is at 12 seconds behind in third.
Walkenhurst is at 12 seconds and this is a 2-up battle Battle Royale as Wagner comes up on the side of Yara Miller. Yara Miller went over the top of the climb first, but Dana Wagner now takes up the front position. Strange positioning with 200 metres to go and a pretty flat run to the finish, because Yara Miller's now got the launch from Wagner, but Wagner kicks first. Can Wagner stay clear? The banner is coming. Can Wagner do it? Well, Wagner looks as though she's taking the win from Yara Miller in Category 2. Great finish, great positioning, 1 hour and 3 minutes.
Dana Wagner leading out from the front, kicking early enough, and the move from behind not being made quick enough or with enough power by Yara Miller, but a fantastic second place. Meanwhile, look at this, Mary-Kate McCarthy looks like she's handing it out. It's going to surely be a win. 9 seconds the lead to Bruni.
But look at the chase behind, because Bruni's at 9 seconds, Fua's at 24. Columbi is with Fua. Columbi's put in a phenomenal climb, but it's Mary-Kate McCarthy who's doing the business on the front of Category 1. She's coming round the final corner. That's the UCI banner. This is Mary-Kate McCarthy taking the win today in Category 1 on the Sunday Race Club. She broke that Category 1 pack on the climb.
What a great ride on the run.
Bruni coming through for second place. Celine Columbi's got the jump on Fua. Or has Fua got the jump on Columbi? Kristen Kolczynski is coming as well. She's at 2 seconds. The riders are coming thick and fast. It's Sarah London from Category 2. Fua from Category 1 takes it from Columbi. Wow, wow, wow. Kolczynski coming through for 5th place. And Maria Holcroft back down the climb.
What a race, what a battle, what a fight in all of our categories. The final few meters, what a run to the line. That was absolutely astounding racing.
And I got my prediction right. 59 minutes and 8 seconds. We went sub the hour today. Mary-Kate McCarthy, thank you very much.
There we go. That's an ice cream I owe Emma for getting another prediction right. We trade those in the Full Speed Event studios here. And when one of us actually manages to make the predictions right, which it does happen quite frequently, every now and then I get one. I have to say that Emma gets more. So, great racing. You can see the live screens at the moment. All the results on www.mywhoosh.com/results. You can see McCarthy from Bruni, Fua, Columbi and Kolczynski, your top 5 with Holcroft and Bassoni coming through. The gaps really opening at the top of the climb. A great portent of racing here in California on the women's competition. Emma, can you take us through the other categories?
I can. Dana Wagner takes the win in Category 2 from Yara Miller, Walkenhurst, Poulsen, Giannatti and Gonzalez Rua. In Category 3, it was Simpkin from Herrero, Vasquez, Hadlock and Tokova. And in Category 4, Ella Vink took the win from Kristen Hamilton, Francis Idzik and Alzat.
Great racing on the Women's Sunday Race Club. Qualifier race number 3. Always a pleasure putting words to the action here with Emma. Emma, the battle today showed, I think, all the best bits of racing on a Sunday Race Club and just how strong our women's race fields are.
Yeah, all 4 of our race fields, absolutely phenomenal racing today. And California, what a course.
It really, really doesn't disappoint, does it?
Not at all. Absolutely brilliant.
I can't wait to go back, but of course, lots of great courses on the Sunday Race Club in both our men's and women's competition. My name's Matt Payne, and you can catch up with me at Matt Fixer Payne. You can catch up with Emma Martin at biking_Emma. Please remember to send her all of your details, what you're getting up to on the way through. Send me your details on the way through about your racing, what you've been doing in the week. And don't forget, of course, make sure you send them to at MyWhoosh across all of social media. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please do give us a tick. Get a friend to do it. Get your family to do it.
Bring a friend next week.
Bring a cousin
bring
to
a
it.
friend next week because it's going to be your final, isn't it?
Yeah, so but get your riders out there and riding. Let us know who you've got on board. Have you got maybe a new rider who's going to be experiencing the racing?
Well, I think we should have a bring a friend in October.
Bring a friend in October. Maybe that will be the big banner that you see across your screens. For the moment, though, it is qualifier race number 3, concluded in the women's competition. We're going to take a short break. We will be back for the men. So please do join us for that. And, of course, for all of the races on MyWhoosh. Tick the button, hit the subscribe. We will be back for the men's qualifier race number 3 in September. But from all of the team behind the scenes, from Emma and myself, stay safe. We'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.